Jackson's Victory Tour is conquering fans in the New York metropolitan area. Michael Jackson and his brothers opened the first of 5 shows last night in a dazzle of laser lights, strobes, and sequins. About 44,000 people crowded into Giant Stadium in suburban New Jersey, some having paid scalpers some $700 for a ticket.
That's the way I stand. Every day say why? Tell them that is human nature. Why?
We'll pay a visit to John Coughlin for a weather update, and then Pat Collins pays her respects to the folks who make the movies magic when we come back.
Time now, 34 minutes after the hour.
1 minute before the hour. One of his songs once put it right. Jermaine Jackson is feeling the fire, doing very well, thank you. In the middle of a summer tour of 50 cities, his first solo tour ever. Jermaine is highlighting his album, Precious Moments. Now, one of the singles is a collaboration with Stevie Wonder, I Think It's Love. Have a listen. Album dedicated to the late and great Marvin Gaye. Jermaine has been described by some as the most musically talented of the Jackson family, and believe me, that's high praise indeed. We catch up with him this morning in Orlando, Florida, very early in the morning for a man who was out on a concert tour. Jermaine, how are you?
Pretty good, and you?
I'm doing very well. You know, I have to think about it. You are really the first member of your family to go out on a solo tour. This is your first solo tour. Were there butterflies in your stomach before you hit the road?
Pretty much. I guess since we rehearsed for 10 weeks, I sort of gotten a lot of the butterflies out, but it's doing very well. I miss my brothers up there.
Does it have a different kind of feeling for you then to be out there all by yourself and to have all the weight on your shoulders?
It's more responsibility. Right before we arrived here in Florida, we left our hometown, and I was the first brother, the first family member to ever play Gary, and it was most exciting. You know, the crowd was very responsive. I saw a lot of my old friends from junior high school and grammar school, and it was wonderful.
I see a lot of folks from around Gary are going to say, well, why didn't you come back sooner? We wanted to have you here. How come it took so long for Jermaine Jackson finally to make it back home?
Well, I usually go back as much as I can, but not for performance, just to go in our old house and look for old clothes that I used to wear when I was young and go in the attic and things like that. But I go in. Last time I was there was 2 years ago.
So when you go there in a concert tour and you're playing, and then you see folks from junior high and so on, is it like old times, or somehow is it just completely different?
I'll tell you, just being back and just hearing how, you know, a lot of your friends are grown up and they're married, they have kids, and you see that a lot of time has gone by. Now we're all older and we all have families, and you go by your old junior high school and you see where you used to walk to school, and it's great. It's a great feeling. But it's easy for me because I'm able to go back and just to see and enjoy those times, which I've never forgotten, really.
Why dedicate the album to Marvin Gaye? What did he mean to you?
Marvin Gaye has always been a great inspiration in my life, and many people in my family. His vocal ability is what really astounds me, and I think his music is going to live on.
A lot of people have said, when they heard I was going to talk to you, Jermaine, they said, you know, one of the things that astounds me is how this family can be so incredibly talented. It's not one person, it's not 2 people, it's a whole bunch of them who seem to have ability. Now, is that because you started so young and you were able to keep going, or was there something special about the family beyond that?
Well, I think it has a combination of just paying your dues, starting out early, and I guess being blessed. My family worked as hard at what we were doing. My sister Janet now is at the top of the charts. She's doing extremely well. My brothers are in the studio working on the album. My whole family is just moving to what they're going to do next, and that's planning in the studio and just staying busy.
Jermaine, what I hope you're going to do next is keep playing some music for us, because it's very good. Thanks for talking to us so early in the morning.
Thank you.
Good luck. It's now 17 minutes
Partly
before
cloudy,
the
high of about 88 degrees. New York City, a chance of some afternoon showers. High temperature there will be about 83 degrees. Sunny and hot in Dallas, high of 94. And that's the weather. I'm heading back for WBBM TV in Chicago. It's been very nice working with all of you, Jane and Bill and Pat and everybody. See you soon.
Well, we don't mean to pick on you so much, John Coughlin, but you can take it. If anybody can.
Right.
An
Boy, we had
old
fun
friend,
with him.
I'll say.
We're looking forward to Pat Collins now on a subject germane to the world of entertainment. Pat, what have you got for us, as though she hadn't hinted?
Well, you know, when Michael Jackson swept the Grammy Awards last February, he said, "I love you all, even Jermaine." Michael's 29-year-old brother is the most independent of the Jacksons' 9 children, the only brother to once leave the act, and the only brother who has a 3-song solo set when Michael takes a break in their 90-minute show. In 1970, in the first stage of the Jackson 5's success, it was Jermaine who got the fan mail. He was the first black teenage sex symbol. Now it is his kid brother who is the star, but if there is sibling rivalry, it goes publicly unspoken and unseen as the Jacksons sweep the country in perfect harmony.
You hurt my soul, and these guys are trying, and these guys will hurt me. Then that man next door has told me, she's been there until something just didn't carry me.
The most exciting moment was in Kansas City when we were all set, and it was so many minutes before we were to come out, and I was sitting there tearing. I mean, I couldn't believe it, because it's something that I dreamed about, and we've been playing this for 2 years now, and it's counting the days down, and then all of a sudden you're there in Kansas City, and you're under the stage, and you're getting ready to come out in front of all these people, and I was just saying, golly, I made it.
Do you feel that your mother and father and Don King were crucial in bringing this tour off?
They had the hardest part, because to get all of us to commit to say we're going to do this, I mean, it took a lot. It took a lot of planning, meetings, and just meeting with different people. And we met with other promoters and this and that, but they weren't concerned about my mother and father being involved, and so we didn't go with them. Don King came in and he brought my mother and father in, and I have to give credit where credit's due. I mean, he did a great job.
I've read that you said that you were doing the tour for your parents. In what way?
They gave us life. They brought us into this world, my mother and father, and I remember the days of us rehearsing and my mother working to make sure we were able to eat, and my father working hard and stuff. And once the act gets so big, there's so many people that come around, the legal people and everyone, and they sort of almost pull you away. So it's important for us to continue to be a family and to stay together, because they divide and conquer. And so saying that we're doing it for them, it's not that we're giving them something, we're having them involved, because the other reasons why we're here.
Is the tour in any way a sacrifice for you? Is it getting in the way of your own career as a solo artist?
No. This tour is the greatest thing that has happened to me in a long time. It's something that I've waited for 8 years, and it's helping my career. During the 8 years that we were apart, I never toured.
Jermaine stopped touring with his brothers 8 years ago when they left Motown for another record company. Jermaine remained loyal to Motown founder Berry Gordy, who is also his father-in-law, and turned out 8 albums. Last year, Jermaine left Gordy and has just released his 9th LP that contains the song Dynamite, which is swiftly moving up on the chart.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
We want to talk about your news ventures in just a moment, but first let's talk about your little brother. Okay. Now, you did not see the documentary, is that correct?
No, I've been traveling a lot, but I did not.
Did you talk to him about it at all?
I have not spoken with him, but I know my brother, so I don't need to speak with him. You know, it's a brother-to-brother thing.
What was the reaction by anybody else in your family?
Well, you know what? I did speak with my wife, and she had mentioned to me that, you know, she didn't know what they were making all the issues about, because she felt that Mike was genuine, and it wasn't bad at all. It's what the news have taken and twisted.
All right, let's take a look at a couple of the things that he said, maybe, and you can offer us some insights. And the first one, he did talk about your father, Joe, and he actually mentioned you. So let's take a look at that soundbite, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Not only were we practicing, we were nervous rehearsing, because he sat in a chair and he had this bell in his hand. And if you didn't do it the right way, he would tear you up, really get you.
All right, so, and he did go on to mention that he felt that you got it the worst, implying that your father was physically abusive. Is that true?
My father was disciplinarian, but, you know, I got lit up. Yeah, it was Christmas for me almost every other day.
Wow.
So, but the thing about it is that in our neighborhood, and I'm not, that wasn't abnormal, and it doesn't mean that it was right either, but that's the way they disciplined those days.
Do you think that it affected Michael in particular in a negative way?
I think that it does affect any kid. Since I have kids and I'm older and I look at things totally different, not just Michael, I think that affects any kid.
One of the headliners in this interview that was the most shocking is something that had to do with children, in particular your brother sleeping with children. So let's take a look at that soundbite, okay?
But when you say bed, you're thinking sexual. They make that sexual. It's not sexual. But we're going to sleep. I tuck them in. I put a little music on, into a little story time. I read a book. It's very sweet. Put the fireplace on. Give them hot milk. You know, we have little cookies. It's very charming. Very sweet.
What's your reaction to that?
Well, my reaction is to that is that, you know, I only can tell you what I know, and I trust my wife's judgment. I mean, I've been married for over 28 years, and she told me, you know, Michael had mentioned that he offered his bed to them and he slept on the floor and things of that nature, and I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, the thing is that I think the media is just taking things and twisting them around to me, I think it's a modern day lynching. Okay, well, and they're taking things out of context.
Well, Mr. Jackson, I mean, in light of the fact that he did settle a child abuse case, okay, a multi-million-dollar settlement back in 1993, in your estimation, doesn't this show some sort of lapse of judgment that you continue with a behavior that some people might see as inappropriate with kids?
Well, you know, everybody can, you know, have their opinion on this and their opinion on that, but the true fact is that those things didn't happen. And so if you look at the truth and just stick with that, then you'll be fine.
All right, speaking of the truth, I think some people wondered about his comments about plastic surgery, so let's see what Michael said about plastic surgery on his face.
I've had no plastic surgery on my face, just my nose. It helped me breathe better.
Now, just looking at his physical appearance through the years, it would appear that he had additional work on his chin, his eyes, his nose. I mean, what do you make of those comments?
The way I make of those comments is that that's his body, that's his face. I mean, we weren't put on this earth to judge others, okay? When we leave this earth, the only thing that the Lord would judge us by is our heart. I mean, there's so many things that are happening in this world today, and everybody's trying to get their Jackson fix, and here we are about to go to war, and we should be talking about how we can get the world leaders together, you know, to study peace. And so, I mean, that's his body. If he wants to do whatever he wants to do. I can't tell you what he's done or how many this or how many that, because I'm not interested. I judge him by his heart, and I love him because he's a great person.
All right. We want to talk a little bit before we go about your business ventures. I know you're a broadcast entrepreneur. Can you fill us in on what you're doing these days?
The major broadcasting cable network, we're getting ready to launch our second network, actually. I have a company called James & Jackson, Alvin James and myself founded the network, and we brought in Willie, Gary, Cecil Fielder, Evander Holyfield to breathe life into the major broadcasting network. We do family-oriented programming, positive programming from a black perspective, which we need. And now we're here, we're in over about 25 million homes here in the U.S. and about 15 million homes domestically. And now we're here for a press conference to introduce our second network, which is a 24-hour news network from a black perspective.
All right.
For many years, you know, black people have fought to be heard. African American people have fought to get better roles on television, to be portrayed better on television. With this network, we will do that.
All right, Marlon Jackson, we have to go. Thanks so much. We'll
be
right back. This is The Early Show on CBS.
They say that time heals all wounds, but for a veteran facing a lengthy hospital stay, time can also mean loneliness and boredom. That's why Help Hospitalized Veterans distributes arts and craft kits to VA hospitals throughout the U.S. These kits provide time-fulfilling activities and effective therapy. They tell our veterans that we care about them. To learn more or locate a hospital where you can volunteer, call Help Hospitalized Veterans at 1-888-567-VETS.
Now, for the first time in almost 17 years, there's talk that Jermaine, Jackie, Tito, Marlon, and Michael will reunite for a new CD and national tour. Jermaine Jackson's at his home in Encino, California. Jermaine, good morning. Happy New Year.
Good morning, Brian. Happy New Year to
I'm
you.
all right. You ever get tired of hearing that old stuff?
No, we love it. You forgot to add Randy.
Yeah, Randy's going to be joining later, but he wasn't part of the original. That's why I didn't.
Yeah.
How'd this reunion talk come about? Whose idea was it?
Well, it's been spoken about for quite some time, but we felt that it was time because it's always started by a creative process. We've all been doing some music and we've been talking. We've been gathering up over the last 3 Thanksgivings, and we said, well, we want to come out with some. If we're going to come back, it's got to be exciting. And we speak about it. Michael and I talk sometime, and Jackie and Marlon and Tito, and we just said, hey, the timing is now.
Is it realistic to think you could all just jump back on the stage together and work together again in harmony when you haven't done it for so long?
Well, Brian, we've been doing this since we were knee-high to a coffee table, but what it is that we feel this is where we were born on stage. I mean, this is our life. And yes, it's just said, hey, let's go do it now. And that's how it happened.
You've said you're not going to return as the Jackson 5, but as the J5. Talk to me about the name change. Why?
Well, they can call us whatever they want to call us, but we feel, you know, we're the Jacksons, the Jackson 5, the J5, whatever, but we felt there was more help and it would work for today. Okay, plans are one thing and they're all nice and good, but let's talk tax here. How firm a commitment do you have from Michael? Michael's involved. I was there in New York very quietly, and we spoke, and we have his commitment. He's very excited. He's can't wait to get involved with the creative process, even with some of the video parts of directing and just getting involved. Well, how come Michael's management firm hasn't confirmed or denied this? They keep on saying, well, he'll do some things for the album, but the tour is another matter. What? Management is one thing, but brothers talking is a whole nother thing. I tell you, it's family, and we set the precedence for everything. And the bottom line is, this is a whole creative process. And, you know, management have certain things, how they want to say things, but the bottom line is, the brothers, we get together and we say, hey, we're going to do this, regardless of whether management or whatever. It's a creative process. It all starts from a song. It starts from a feeling. The joy of being back on stage with the brothers is unbelievable. So you're convinced Michael's on board? I know Michael's on board. I mean, it's no question. But Michael's a Jackson 5. He's original Jackson 5. Or J5. Are Michael's plans contingent at all upon the success of the solo album that he's set to release? Well, Michael's getting ready to release an unbelievable album, and our plan was that he releases his, and then we come with ours and we do a tour. But the plan is to get all the creative songs that I've been working on, Jackie's been working on, Michael's working on some things, Tito, Marlon, Randy, and we bring them all together. Yeah. And that's what creates the whole force of just getting back out there. Hey, Jermaine, I know you love him, but people who've seen recent pictures of your brother are struck by how dramatically different he looks today. How does he look to you? His heart is the same. I speak to him, I feel him, I love him, and the outer body is just a shell. What I'm more concerned about is heart, and he's the same kid that I once shared all those hit songs with years ago, and that's what I go by. Does he look healthy to you? Yeah. Oh, Michael's very healthy. You know why? He doesn't eat anything bad. He takes care of himself, and that's what's most important. You know, positive thoughts and just eat the right things, and he gets a workout all the time. Okay, now first of all, I preface this by saying I'm 52, so I'm getting there along with you, but I'm looking at the numbers here. I did the math. You're now 46, Michael's 42, Jackie's 49, Tito's 47, Marlon's 43. You guys aren't kids anymore. Who's the target audience for this new tour and album? Kids, grandparents, and all in between. And when you take care of yourself, and you eat right, and you don't do bad things, and you don't drink, you're ready to do it, Brian, and that's what it's all about. So you're not at all concerned that maybe the marketplace has moved on and gone somewhere where J5 hasn't been? No, no. We feel that we had a lot to do with where the music has gone and where music has evolved, but still there's a sound today. We're more concerned about hit records, and that would dictate the success of this album and the success of the tour, hit records. Now, when's the last time you and your brothers tried working together, even in an amateur fashion? In private?
When's the last time you tried working together, even in private?
We've been working together for the last year or two. We've been on and off because there's a lot of other things go on in our lives. You know, we all have families, but the creative thing, it comes and then we pull back. But now it's to a point now where we feel we have a great compilation of songs and some new things. We're working with some other producers on the outside, and we're very thrilled.
And is there any intent, and on this new tour, is it your intention to do old stuff along with the new stuff, or all new stuff?
We're going to mix it all up, and I think what's most important is to take some of the old stuff and flip it and mix it with some new things, but to have an audience that's international is very important to give them what they want. And yes, we definitely got to mix it, Brian.
And I know you talked to me about Randy being involved for the first time. Is there a role for Janet on this new tour?
Well, Janet looked so beautiful last night.
She did look good. She looked wonderful.
Oh, she looks beautiful. I would love to have her on the show, but it's a, hey, if she wants to, fine. But I think the guy has to say, we got to do it this time. But Janet has done incredibly well.
All right. Jermaine, we'll keep watching. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We'll wait to see it come to pass. Hope we'll talk with you at that time. Stay well.
Thank you, Brian.
All righty. It's 47 past the hour. We're back in just a moment. You're watching the Early Show, CBS.
Everybody, that's going to do it for Weather. Mags, inside to you.
Thank you, Lonnie. Recently, we have been, unfortunately, more likely to hear about Michael Jackson's strange life than his music. But for decades, that was not the case. CBS News correspondent Terrell Brown is in Gary, Indiana, where it all began for the King of Pop. We remember that fresh-faced little boy, Terrell.
Yeah, Maggie, good morning to you. And you know what? We were out here yesterday, 12, 13 hours ago, when word first broke that Michael Jackson had passed away. And we watched the crowds come in. Hundreds gathered here in this front yard and around these streets within a matter of hours. This morning now, a makeshift memorial on the front porch of that house where Michael Jackson once lived, teddy bears, candles, and posters honoring the life of Michael Jackson. He is this town's beloved son, but with that life also came controversy.
From his earliest days, Michael Jackson was always in the spotlight. With the release of Thriller in 1982, Jackson had become the world's best-selling artist. But a few years later, it wasn't his music that was making headlines, but his often bizarre behavior.
The stranger he got, the less people were able to really connect and relate with him.
Far more damaging, rumors that Jackson had molested a child.
Suddenly all of that strangeness darkened and became something that was very difficult for his audience to come to terms with.
In 1993, Jackson settled with the family and denied all accusations.
These statements about me are totally false.
His marriage to Lisa Marie Presley ended after just 20 months. A second marriage with Debbie Rowe that produced 2 children was also short-lived. And many questioned his parenting skills after this. Then, in 2003, another charge of child molestation, but this time there was a trial, complete with trademark Jackson orchestrated theatrics. He was acquitted. Though he lost many of his fans in the United States, Jackson's popularity overseas remained strong. He was rehearsing for a sold-out comeback tour in London when he died.
There's always going to be 2 Michael Jackson stories. The one story about an artist who is probably as important as, you know, any artist in popular music, and the other person suffered from a very troubled private life, a figure who engineered, in a way, his own demise.
And for decades, there has been some question about what to do with this home. I had a chance to talk to the mayor of Gary. He said that he had talked to Joe Jackson as well as Tito Jackson, and there are plans in the works to honor the Jackson family in this town. In Gary, Indiana this morning, I'm Terrell Brown, CBS News. We will now send it over to Dave Price, who's in LA. Dave, good morning.
Good morning to you, Terrell. From where it began, really, to where it has ended for Michael Jackson. His family in the background right there at Havenhurst. His children there as well at this hour with their grandmother, Katherine Jackson, and a pall of sadness over the entertainment world. We're joined once again by CBS consultant and Michael Jackson biographer, J. Randy Taraborelli. Thanks for being with us. You know, we just heard from that last report about his odd behavior. Eccentric might even be an understatement. Compare Michael Jackson to one of the other great rock legends that died so early, Elvis Presley.
Yes.
Are there parallels?
Well, it's interesting, you know, because we're standing here in front of Michael's home in Encino, and Michael Jackson still owns his home. And I remember many times in the 1980s coming here and talking to Michael Jackson about Elvis Presley. And he'd always say that he felt that he wanted to be able to achieve the heights that Elvis had achieved, and he wanted to be the king. And of course, Elvis was the king, so Michael came up with the king of pop. And that's how that sort of evolved. And there were a lot of similarities in the sense that they were surrounded by people, often maybe not the best people, you know, who often took advantage of them, but others who tried to help them as well. Both Elvis and Michael were the kinds of guys who didn't often listen to advice. They were very self-reliant and independent people who, artists who did things their own way.
But, I mean, we've heard about the hyperbaric chambers and buying the Elephant Man's bones. How much of that was really genuine oddness?
Well, you know, most of that wasn't even true. I mean, most of that was publicity that Michael put forth himself in order to create this sort of sensational image in the media at a time in the 1980s that he felt that he wanted to be thought of as controversial and eccentric. Of course, then eventually the media began creating its own stories about him, and it snowballed. But back in the beginning, the hyperbaric chamber and the Elephant Man's bones and all the shrine to Elizabeth Taylor and all those stories that we know so well, those were really fictions that came from Michael Jackson.
What now? You know, we talk about where it ended because the family is here now mourning in this house where Michael grew up. What happens to the children? What happens to the music? What happens as we move forward now after the mourning ends?
You know, Dave, it's anybody's guess at this point. I mean, no one expected this to happen. I hope that all of that is worked out, you know, in different insurance policies and in Michael's will. But I think that what we're going to see, just based on Michael Jackson's history, is a lot of controversy in the months and years to come about who gets what and where the children will be raised.
And if he was disconnected in reality in planning for the future, it may be a very sloppy process to get to the bottom of all of this.
I think that's likely, yes.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. In the meantime, again, we'll continue our coverage here from California and across the country. Lara, we'll send it back to you in New York.
All right, Dave, thank you. And some other celebrities have reached out, giving us statements. Justin Timberlake says, "We have lost a genius and a true ambassador of not only pop music, but of all music." And Steven Spielberg has said, "Just as there will never be another Fred Astaire or Chuck Berry or Elvis Presley, there will never be anyone comparable to Michael Jackson. His talent, his wonderment, and his mystery make him legend." And isn't that so true? And finally, Paul McCartney has released a statement. He says, "It is so sad and shocking. I feel privileged to have hung out and worked with Michael. He was a massively talented boy man with a gentle soul. His music will be remembered forever, and my memories of our time together will be happy ones."
Boy, man. Someone said this morning he was a man when he was a boy and a boy when he was a man.
That's well put.
I thought
it's
so
true.
too. Yeah. And I like Dick Clark's quote. He said, of all the entertainers he's met, and you know Dick Clark knows everyone, Michael Jackson is the most outstanding.
Yeah.
Quite a statement.
And, you know, it's interesting. We keep going back to the music, back to the music, back to the music, and we just spend time with people outside, and that really is what people are remembering. And it maybe is the saddest legacy of all, that for the last 10 or 12 years or so, the only thing we really talked about when we talked about Michael Jackson was the sort of train wreck that was his
curiosity
life.
factor.
Yeah, exactly. And now that he's dead, everybody is talking about, as you suggested earlier, better times, better memories, better images, better feelings. the joy that and the happiness that he brought to so many people.
As Dave Price was just saying, you remember the Elephant Man? He bought the bones. I mean, there was a lot
that I had
a lot of
forgotten,
strange
but yeah.
chapters.
There you go. We're going to take our leave right now. We'll be right back.
Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be, let it be.
We have new information this morning on the Jackson family feud that is getting uglier and more confusing by the day.
I'll say it appears to be about Michael Jackson's estate and who should have control of it. That's the question. Kevin Frazier, host of The Insider, has been talking with some of the Jacksons and joins us with the latest. Kevin, it is, like the kids of today say, a hot mess. Is it fair to say?
It really is, Gail.
It is.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that it's about money, or is it about who gets control of the Jackson children?
Well, money is one of the motivating factors, but also understand that this is a family, and this family is fractured right now because they feel that Katherine Jackson's health is in danger. They feel at the same time that the executors of Michael Jackson's estate are fraudulent and stealing money, as Randy Jackson has said, from the family. So there are many issues at helm, but keep this in mind. Michael Jackson's estate was $500 million in debt when he passed away. Now, since he has died, it is believed that the estate has earned about $1 billion. His family, or at least Katherine Jackson, receives $86,000 a month as the guardian of the children to help take care of the children. Now, if you do the math, $86,000 isn't that much when you are talking about $500 million in earnings.
Kevin, who takes care of the children of Michael Jackson?
That's Katherine Jackson. Now, when Katherine Jackson is out of town, there are nannies. There is Trent Jackson, who drives Katherine Jackson, who helps take care of the children. And also, keep in mind, Marlon Jackson is staying at the house while he's out here in California. So there's a constant stream of family inside the house and around the house. So it's not like the kids are home alone. There's this myth that, the kids are running wild, they're home alone, Katherine's gone. There's a lot of family around, and so there's always an eye on the children.
We all appreciate the genius of Michael Jackson. I mean, it was clear and evident in terms of the talent he had. Why are we so fascinated by this story and his family?
In a sense, the Jacksons are American royalty. And, I was with the brothers on Sunday night for their concert. And when the brothers were at the concert and on the stage, it was just pure bliss. When they come off the stage, then things seem to be fractured. But I was told by a family member on Sunday that everything was fine. Anyone who wanted to talk to Katherine Jackson could talk to Katherine Jackson. There was no issue. By Monday, when I heard about the issues, there was all of a sudden a fracture in the family. And then when I sat down with Marlon on Tuesday, I got this response.
We've been told that our mother is safe. She's doing well. But we have not spoken with her. We have not talked with her. And I don't know where my mother. I don't know where my mother is. All I know is she's in Arizona, and whatever doctor said I can't talk to my mother, you call me. I'm finished. I'm sorry.
Marlon, Jackie, and Tito very upset at the fact that they haven't seen or talked to their mother.
But Kevin, that's why it's so confusing, because I saw pictures of Katherine Jackson playing Uno at Reeby's house. They say that she's in Arizona at Reeby's house. Paris Jackson, who's sending out all these tweets saying, I have not been able to talk to my grandmother. If it's that simple, why doesn't somebody just pick up the phone and communicate?
Well, and that's the thing. Marlon, Jackie, and Tito said they want to talk to their mother. They haven't been able to reach her. The other side of the family, the other siblings are saying, you know what? Mom's not getting on the phone. She's staying away from all the business and everything that was going on that was stressing her out in L.A., and we want to keep her away, especially from the executors who we feel are taking advantage of her and Michael's children. So you have a portion of the family who has decided, we're going to keep Mom here in Arizona. She's going to let her get away for a while. And another part of the of the family like, we just want to talk to Mom. The brothers expected to see their mother in Albuquerque when they performed last week, then in Arizona, and again in Los Angeles. And when they didn't see her in Los Angeles, they became really upset and worried.
But Kevin, what was the relationship like prior to this? Because could it just be that really she's decided, I mean, she's a grown woman. She could pick up the phone or answer a phone call if she wants to. Was there a strain prior to all of this current drama?
In my opinion, I think it's that the family really wants to control the estate. And the children, the 5 that signed that letter, want to control the estate. And in getting control of the estate, they have to get Catherine Jackson away for a while. They also, and Jermaine wrote an impassioned plea on Twitter. He said, my mother's health is at stake. If you have ever been around Catherine Jackson and you've seen the amount of people that are constantly talking to her, asking for things, looking for things, it's very tough and very taxing on an 82-year-old woman. But keep this in mind. The Jackson brothers, Jermaine on one side of this dispute, the other 3 on another side, will all be together in San Jose on stage and perform on Friday night.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. And what's so interesting, Michael Jackson worked so hard to avoid this while he was alive. You know, all the publicity on his children. Does the family say anything about that?
You know, I've talked to Janet many times, and one thing that Janet has always pointed out, and let's keep in mind, Janet does not need any money. Janet has always said she wants Michael's children to grow up and live as normal a life as possible, especially Paris. Her concern is that she wants Paris to stay away from the entertainment business until she's 18. Then she can make the decision. But if Janet had her way, Paris would live a normal life, go to college, because remember, Janet and Michael didn't live that normal of a childhood. Right. And so she just wants them to have a childhood.
Kevin Frazier, nice to see you this morning. Thank you. And of course, Kevin will have more tonight on The Insider. It is 8:07. Here's a check of your local weather. Greek yogurt has become a somewhat trendy superfood. This morning, one yogurt company is seeing skyrocketing sales, nearly $1 billion worth, and you'll meet the CEO next on CBS This Morning.